Hello, my name is Pablo Requena, and in this video I'm going to explain how I sharpen the scraper. The scraper is a tool that you're going to use all the time around the workshop, and when you're making a guitar there's several occasions where you need to have a good sharp scraper to be able to do the job properly, especially for example when you're coming to level up the bindings and the purflings. So so I've got this one which it needs sharpening. So there's many ways of doing this job, and what I'm going to do is to show you the way that I found that is the easiest way to get a good edge. So you'll find that most people will be using files and sharpening stones, but I use around the workshop sanding blocks all the time for several for different jobs. So this is what I'm going to be using to clean the scraper and to sharpen it. So in this block I have 180 grit sandpaper, the same as in these ones. And so if I use a slightly wider block, this is about 4 inches by 6 inches long, and it's also 180. I'm going to clamp the block in the vise. And the first thing that I want to do when it comes to work with the scrapers, what you need to know is that the first thing you want is to have a square edge in relation to the two sides. At the moment the edge would be all over the place because it's been used for a little while. So I want to re-establish these 3 faces, and they all need to be 90 degrees to each other. So the first thing I'm going to do is to clean these 4 faces, and I'm just going to be rubbing them down against the sandpaper. You can see all this sort of dark that is coming into here. This is metal from the scraper. So even though it's sandpaper, it's not a file, you can see that it's doing the job really well, and you can also see the shine and the cleanness on the metal. So you'll find that sandpaper is very effective. It doesn't last for very long, but it's very easy to change it, and you just need to put in a new piece of sandpaper and off you go again. So now that I'm running the scraper flat into this block, I've got all these 4 sides. You can also see it's coming in my fingers. This is all little particles of metal. So now I want to work on this edge, and what I'm going to do is that with any block that you got around the workshop, you just want to check that it's 90 degrees, this face to the main side, and you're going to use it as a guide to run the scraper with it. So you're just also going to change the place where the scraper is cutting, because it will cut through the paper very easily and then it will be completely useless. But if you just do a few passes and move it, then you know that you get a very good edge here. I don't know if it shows in the camera, but I can see, if I find the right reflection for the light, that the edge is really nice and clean now, and it would be 90 degrees to this edge. So I'm going to do the other one as well. And I like doing it this way because most of the time my students ask me what are the right tools, and they always think about, okay, what kind of tools am I going to have to buy to be able to set up my workshop. And you can see that often you don't really need to buy a lot of tools. So I have a really good edge here as well. I am going to run it into here a little bit more flat again, but this time I'm running the scraper away or into the edge, so that any possible bare that is left here is going to be cut away from the edge. Okay, so now that I have my 2 edges ready, all I need to do is to get my burnisher. Basically a burnisher is no more than a really tough piece of metal that is been hardened, and what that will do is that you can work the edge with it. So I'll show you what I do. I This is a vise with wooden plates into it, so it's not going to damage the edge that I get on the scraper. And then what I'm going to do is, I'm not going to be too aggressive with this tool. I'm just going to run it at a very slight angle 2 or 3 times. If you come over right opposite or right in front, you can maybe show the angle that I'm using. It's not very strong, so it's not 90 degrees, it's just a little taper. 4 or 5 times, okay? And then get it off the vise, and let's do the other one. So again, not 90 degrees, but a little angle, and then the same in the other side. So this is now ready to go, and I've got a piece of rosewood here that I'm working on, and I'm going to show you what the end result is. And you can see that you don't want to have just dust, you want to have little thin shavings, and so you can see that this is going to do a really nice job of cleaning scratches and leveling bindings and things like that. Once you've been using the scraper for a little while, you will feel that it's losing the edge. So before you have to do the whole thing again, you can just come back to here and dress this edge again very lightly. You can do that 4 or 5 times, and then after you've done it a few times, then you will have to do the whole process again and re-establish the edge and sharpen it up again. But you have quite a bit of time before that is necessary again. So you can see how this is a very simple process, but it's very important, because I often find that my students, they say to me, "Oh, Pablo, how do you do this? Because I've been fighting with the scraper for years and I just cannot get a good edge." But hopefully this will show you how simple it is and how achievable it is. So I hope that you found this video helpful, and until the next one.